In five, four, three, two, one. Can you please introduce yourself and explain your role within Iota Phi Theta?
I'm Brother Cedric Jones. I am currently the Polaris of Alpha Alpha Omega Alumni Chapter located in Indianapolis, Indiana.
How long have you been a member of Iota Phi Theta?
I have been a member of Iota Phi Theta for 25 years. Crossed on February 19th, 1999, and through the Epsilon Omega Alumni Chapter. I'm a charter member of the Delta Theta Chapter at Fort Valley State University.
Can you describe the process of becoming a member in the Midwest region?
Well, in my case, I became a member of the Midwest region when I moved into this area back in 2001. I met Brother Terry McCarty, who introduced me to other brothers. And then several years ago, I was brought back into the fold by one of my friends, one of our fraternity brothers, Dr. Jared Nicholas Dortch.
Okay. What has been your most memorable experience as a member of Iota Phi Theta?
I would say probably the 2023 conclave when Alpha Alpha Omega was awarded the International Chapter of the Year. Great honor for us. I know there was a lot of hard work for us as a chapter, and to receive that really made an impact for us to keep driving and pushing forward.
How has being a part of Iota Phi Theta impacted your personal life?
I believe that being a member of Iota Phi Theta has impacted my personal life by living through the 5 stars of our organization. It has taught me to learn to love the brotherhood, to be faithful to the cause, to try to live my life in a way that I do exemplify citizenship and leadership within brothers, and to continuously learn through that star of scholarship.
Can you discuss the history of Iota Phi Theta in the Midwest?
You know what? As a brother who's been here for over 20 years, I can say that the Midwest itself is mighty. I'm fortunate myself to have brothers Toby Miller, who was a founder of my chapter, my colonel of my chapter, Alpha Alpha Omega in my chapter, and him teaching me a lot of the things in history of the Midwest. Also being fortunate to have the one of the charter members of Gamma Delta chapter in University at IU. Sorry, I'm doing that one over. Okay.
Go ahead.
I would say I'm very fortunate as far as the history of the Midwest to have brothers Toby Miller in my chapter, who is a charter member of Alpha Alpha Omega Alumni Chapter, and also Brother Vernon Evans, who was actually a part of Gamma Delta Chapter in the first intake class in the state of Indiana in my chapter as well. So I'm fortunate, even though I'm from a different region, to have several brothers in my chapter that were able to make history in the state of Indiana and in the Midwest.
How has the fraternity evolved in this region over the years?
In the years that I've seen it, and I think that the evolution of the Midwest region may actually be the evolution of the entire fraternity. We've seen, number one, the technological and digital change, how we moved from being, a lot of paperwork to digital. We've seen the communication begin to improve also in the region. As a whole, I would say the Midwest has come a long way from our time being present. We've seen after the pandemic, brothers really begin to come back after being on lockdown for so many years and find that love for Iota again after being isolated. And I think, even though that was a tough time for a lot of people, in the end, it ended up helping the fraternity as a whole because brothers missed the camaraderie. They realized what they were missing while they were in quarantine during the pandemic. So I think that really allowed the growth of the Iota, and the fraternity really kicked off after that time. But, I think that's probably the biggest thing I've noticed in the change in the culture.
Okay. One last question, and can you describe Iota Phi Theta at its core?
I like the way that Iota is defined in the definition of Iota. It is about collective individuality. We have all these different personalities, all these different individuals, all these different mindsets and directives and purposes for people. But in the end, we always seem to find that in the end, it's all about being men. We always talk about how it takes a man. We always talk about how it takes a man to be an Iota. As far as our slogan, and I really do believe that that is probably the core of our fraternity. All these different individuals and personalities come together for one common purpose to push and drive this organization forward.
All right. So, thank you for allowing me to interview you. So, is there anything that you would like to add? Uh,
I think that I would say that it's time for IOTA to evolve even more. I personally think that, and I made the statement to another brother. I think it's time for us to be violent with our success. It's time for us to stop thinking that that we have to fit a certain model or certain role, but that we get to the level where we decide to be super aggressive and go after the things that we want for our organization. I think that it's time that brothers begin to come back to the fold and decide that no more are we going to live like the grand player said today in the iota of old, but we're going to start pressing toward the iota of the future by actually being aggressive and determined with what we want. And just like in sales, just like in life, that we decide to stop taking no for an answer, that we decide to make our mind up that we're going to go and get what we deserve. The Outlaw poem is a perfect example. Nobody seems People love iotas, but sometimes people don't respect iotas the way they should, so we take it. And that's how we need to move.